Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, cases of West Nile disease in Arizona are on the increase as the CDC warns this season could be among the worst in 20 years. Also tonight, we'll hear about an effort to restore hope and purpose to those who've experienced life-altering illness and injury. And an Arizona solar farm provides a safe harbor to displaced burrowing owls. Those stories and more next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your public television station.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. The CDC says that this year's West Nile season could be among the worst in 20 years. 48 cases across 23 states have been confirmed this year, with 35 of those cases originating in Arizona. To tell us more, we welcome Will Humble, Executive Director of the Arizona Public Health Association. Good to see you, Will. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Let's just get out of the way. What is West Nile virus? What is West Nile disease?
Yeah, so West Nile virus is a virus that infects mammals and birds, warm-blooded animals. Since the history that we know of, it was mostly in the Nile River Valley in Egypt, and that's where it stayed for a long, long time. It finally made it to North America we think on a plane, something like that, in about 2003. There was no West Nile virus transmission in North America up until then.
Interesting.
And that's when it really started. And so it's a virus that infects mostly birds. That's the reservoir. Where the virus replicates. Then the mosquitoes bite the birds who are infected with the virus, and mosquitoes then sometimes will bite a human.
It's you.
You've been bit. And if that's an infected mosquito, then the human can get the West Nile virus.
Okay, so humans can only get West Nile virus through mosquito bites, correct?
Yes, it's not transmissible person to person, in the air. That stuff.
Are there any mosquitoes that are especially rough on, like the ankle biters? You get it at sunset and stuff. Are they? You got to watch out for them.
Well, yes. Like when you look at a mosquito, you can't tell what kind it is, so you have to operate under the assumption this could be a kind of mosquito that can make me sick. Now, having said that, the floodwater mosquitoes that come out really, really fast after a rain, those generally don't transmit the West Nile virus. It's a different species that takes longer time as a larva. That's the kind of mosquito that carries the virus and can infect people.
But there's no way to tell the difference.
No. Well, in my old lab, there was people that knew.
But no way for everyone.
Right.
Okay. Symptoms of the disease, and when do those symptoms show?
So like a lot of diseases, a lot of people who get infected never even know it. So for example, we had people getting diagnosed with the virus just because they gave blood and we found that they were infected and they didn't have any symptoms at all. So a lot of people don't have any symptoms at all. About 20% of cases, 20% of infections will result in feeling bad, fever, but you can't really attribute it. You just, you're feeling down, but you don't have any neurological symptoms or anything really bad. In about 1% of the infections, that's where you can have really bad, what we call neuroinvasive disease, where it causes encephalitis, swelling of the brain, and that's where it can be lethal.
Yeah.
And so far, actually, in Arizona, we've had 5 deaths in Maricopa County for that kind of neuroinvasive disease of West Nile.
So once whether you know it or not, once you've been infected, once you've been bitten by these mosquitoes, is that it for the rest of your life, or is it start all over again next summer?
Start with the birds. So when a bird gets infected and they recover, most of them do, they will be protected and they can't get infected again. Same thing with humans. So if you've been infected before, you have antibodies, you build T cells against the virus, and you're unlikely, not saying you can't, but you're unlikely to ever get West Nile disease again. But the fact that the birds recover, and maybe we have time to get into this, that's why we have sort of a cycle of West Nile.
I do want to get into that because it's fascinating, because the immunity of the birds, it makes sense if you don't have a rainy season for a couple of years. The next rainy season, boom, big cases.
Yeah, so for example, if you remember back in 2021, that was one of those rare years where we had a really good monsoon season. I think the airport got like 6 inches that year. So we had a really big mosquito population in Maricopa County. And as a result, basically all the urban birds that we have were infected with the virus that year. So those birds live that maybe 5, 6, 7 years. They're not going to get the virus again. And so you don't have a reservoir pool to amplify the virus after that. Well, now we're 2026, so this is 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And we haven't had any bad West Nile years for the last 4 or 5 years, which means if we have a good monsoon this summer, and so far it's been lackluster, we could end up having a bloom of mosquitoes and have susceptible birds all over the valley, which is ripe for really spreading the virus a lot.
Is that cyclical nature and just the fact that we have the monsoon sometimes worse than other years, it seems like Arizona always is at or near the lead as far as West Nile. Is that one of the reasons why?
Well, I don't know. You know, I should say things that I don't know. I shouldn't,
But
guess.
is it because we don't take it seriously? Is it because we...
Well, for one thing, you think we're in this desert environment, and why would there be mosquitoes? Well, there's abandoned swimming pools all over the valley. Some of them are drained because people gave up on them, or the people moved and they left it. The rain comes in and pools in there. And so there's a lot of people that just with abandoned pools that are green, and those are breeding mosquitoes. There's wheelbarrows under the eaves of people's garages and stuff like that. So even though we're a desert, because of the way humans behave, we do have a lot of breeding spaces.
Yeah, and you have plants, you're watering your plants all the time because it's a desert and you want to keep them watered, and the little trays underneath.
Correct.
Those little trays, just that little bit of water.
Yep, that's enough.
How long does it take for a mosquito to find the water and start the breeding process?
The kind of mosquitoes that spread West Nile will need a week or two to mature and turn into adult mosquitoes, because they start off as eggs, then larvae, and then adult mosquitoes. Then they have to bite a bird, get infected, and then bite you.
Yeah. So, but the process is there. It can happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Irrigation systems, floodwaters, abandoned swimming pools, again, trays under plants, these sorts of things. Most of these things we can figure out and we can keep from happening.
Right.
Hopefully. What else can we do to stay clear of this?
Well, so the county health departments are out there, there's actually trapping for mosquitoes in neighborhoods.
Yes.
And they use carbon dioxide to attract them and throws them into a net. They take it to a lab and look for the virus. The county health department then takes that information and then figures out, okay, this is a hot spot where they can really send some teams in and look for where that standing water might be that's breeding mosquitoes. So it's like county government can do that part, but you and I can do our part by simply making sure your wheelbarrows aren't turned up. And by the way, I should check mine because I don't really know. And turn them up so that when it does rain, it doesn't create a pool of water.
And bug spray is not necessarily a bad idea, is it?
No, it's not a great idea. I mean, it works.
Yes.
But ideally, if we all work together, we can stop the breeding of the mosquitoes in the first place so that we're not spraying each other with DEET.
Last question. I remember when there were trucks going down one of the streets. I don't remember where I was living, but there were fogging. We used to have fog.
2004, yeah.
Yes. Is that still a possibility, or is that kind of?
It's more focused now than that was a really bad year.
Yeah.
It was all the birds were susceptible that year.
It was brand new.
And it was a brand new, right. That's when it first came over from Egypt. So the county was actually fogging. Federal government was paying for that fogging, by the way. A lot of people didn't like the idea.
I wasn't.
But evap coolers sucking that stuff in.
Yeah.
So they do a much more targeted and focused approach now compared to those days.
All right, Will Humble, Arizona Public Health Association. When does all this end? When the weather gets cold?
What depends on the monsoon. So if the monsoon picks up, this could last all the way through October. If the monsoon fades, like it almost always does, it seems like, at least in my neighborhood, then we're probably going to be done September.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Will. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
It's reading time. We want to go to the library.
Come on, let's go.
Super readers to the rescue.
I love reading stories about artists, explorers.
Want to learn about trains?
Astronaut chickens in outer space.
Wow, a book about a girl like me.
woman has been found dead near your perimeter fence.
Dead? You know I can't resist a murder if it is a murder.
Sounds like you ladies need an escort to the wrong side of town.
Being a woman definitely has its assets.
We need to conduct a more extensive search.
Your boots are a match for a very particular footprint we found beside the body.
You know what it's like when you think life is fleeting and you might die at any moment.
I always feel like that when I'm with you.
Saturday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
I've spent so long trying to prove myself. Show Geordie I've got what it takes.
Geordie taught you everything. You know exactly what to do.
Dexter Sutton, where is he?
You were never with me. I was always alone.
I tried to stop him. He wouldn't stop.
Please move!
The final episode of Grantchester on Masterpiece Mystery.
Sunday night at 8 on Arizona PBS.
The Way Foundation is a nonprofit dedicated to creating life-enhancing experiences for those who've lived through life-altering trauma that led to injury, illness, and disability. The Way states that its goal is to offer hope and healing in restoring a life worth living. And joining us now is James Kilgore, Vice President and COO of The Way Foundation. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Give me a better definition of the Way Foundation. This sounds like good stuff.
I mean, that's probably the best version you're going to get. Mine's a way dumbed down version. We take people with disability that usually are pretty homebound, extremely disabled, and we take them to do cool things. So we try to breathe some life into their existence that they kind of feel is just existing and not really living.
Where do you find these folks?
My background is in rehabilitation, and so my business partner and I, who is the other founder of the Way Foundation, we have a physical therapy team, and so we typically find them when they're extremely debilitated and in a physical therapy setting, homebound setting, bedbound, unable to typically sit at the edge of the bed by themselves, and then we try to rehabilitate them to get them out.
And when you're in the process of rehabilitation, early, late, whenever it is, when do you ask them, what do you want to do with your life? I mean, how do you ask them that?
Sure. Now that the foundation is formed and it's been running for a couple of years, it's simple because I can just say, look, dude, this is something that you typically don't have the opportunity to ask somebody, right? But now that we have the foundation, I say, we have this foundation. If there's funding for it, then what do you want to do? And if there's not funding for it, then we go and seek funding for it. And depending on what it is, if it's something simple like I want to go to my son's birthday party, we just take them.
Yeah.
If it's something big like I want to go to a Cardinals game or fishing in Colorado, my sons live there, then we have to organize a little bit more donation.
I would imagine just asking the question and getting the response and having people think about going to Colorado or going fishing or going to the Cardinal game or something. Mm-hmm. Just that in itself has to be therapeutic.
It is. It's probably daunting too, because a lot of the times these patients are extremely anxious. They're extremely nervous. The guy that we just took, his name is Jerry. We just took him to his son's 50th birthday party. He was so anxious just to leave the house. He has not left his home for an event for years. And so the fact that they don't know if they can use the restroom, they don't know, well, how am I going to get to the bathroom?
Sure.
How am I going to do this? And it's like, we're going to get you there because that's our job as therapists is we do that.
So take us through the process here. Let's say you got someone and they need rehabilitation, but you also know that they're They're existing as opposed to living.
Right.
What do you do?
We build them up. That's our job. We build them up. We assure them that they're going to be safe. We assure them. We walk them through the process of, with this gentleman, it's like we do this in therapy every visit. It's going to be the same. You're going to be in a wheelchair. You're going to be protected, and then we're going to make it happen. And
do you have folks that work together, like a crew that assesses the situation? I mean, someone, you could have someone bedbound say they want to go paragliding or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there has to be some sort of.
Sure, we have to make it safe.
Yeah.
So yes, as therapists, I mean that's our job. So we're gonna make sure that they can do the event.
Do people always know what they want to do? Are some folks just, when you ask them, they don't really know?
Yeah, some people don't know, but those are typically the people that we just say, let's go to dinner, let's go to the movies, let's just get you out, let's go visit your sister. Something simple.
And what you guys do is build a plan, get it all figured out here, and then get it done.
We get it done. So now we have the ability to transport them. We have a transport van. Any durable medical equipment they need, if they need a walker, wheelchair, power chair, we can provide that. If they need caregiving, if their caregivers, their loved ones need a little time off, we have supplied caregivers to give them some relief so they can go to the store, Costco, just take a little break.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. How did it get started? Was there an aha moment? Was there a single individual? How did this the ball get rolling here?
There was a single individual, yes, but the aha moment for me is just knowing how I want to live and how I want to be treated. And if I was stuck in four walls for a period of time, I would simply go crazy. And so it's one thing to tell an individual, hey, let's get you to the bathroom, let's get you to clean yourself, this is how you transfer from your bed to your wheelchair. I don't want to live like that. Most of these individuals don't want to live like that. Like, their disability doesn't erase their hopes, their dreams, their wants. And so these desires, these are people that were in a place to set themselves up for like the golden years, and they found them to be the rusty years. And so for me, that's the moment, is we can take these people to go and do cool things. My business partner was talking to one of his patients, mentioning, man, that would be cool if this could exist. And he simply looked him in the eyes and said, well, then do it.
Yeah.
And then he called me, and I'm the guy that's like, I just can't stop. Once he gets it in my brain, I'm going, okay, this is it. And so it developed from there.
And you are where you are. It has to be rewarding.
It's great. The physical therapy side of my career is amazing. I love it. But when we started the foundation, and you can see that you have this little pool of money, and you can wake up and say, okay, there's $5,000 sitting here. Who can we call? Multiple people can we call this week and bless their lives?
Where can we get more information?
BeTheWay.org is our website. You can go on there. There's spots to volunteer, there's spots to donate money, and then there's spots to nominate. So if you have an uncle, a cousin, an aunt that is struggling, that hasn't been out of their house for a while, nominate button, fill out the information, we'll give you a call.
Very good. James Kilgore, the Way Foundation, congratulations on leading a very productive life that's helping a lot of folks.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for everything you do.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Beside State Route 90, about 12 miles from Mexico, is a monument to Fort Huachuca. Today a high-tech training facility, but also a key outpost in Arizona history. Founded in 1877 as a temporary camp, Camp Huachuca protected miners, ranchers, and travelers against Apache attack. After Geronimo's surrender in 1886, the fort protected the border, and in 1915 supported General Blackjack Pershing's expedition against Pancho Villa. A statue at the fort celebrates black soldiers who served here first in 1892, then continuously since 1913, when the 10th Cavalry, nicknamed by Indians the Buffalo Soldiers, were sent here. In 1942, the first all-black division was stationed here. Fort Huachuca has a long and distinguished record of support for the people of Arizona.
An Arizona solar farm is doing more than generating clean energy. It's also giving displaced burrowing owls a new home. A partnership between Long Road Energy and the Wild at Heart Raptor Rescue Organization has turned the Sunstream Solar Farm west of Buckeye into a safe haven for burrowing owls. Greg Clark is Wild at Heart's burrowing owl habitat coordinator, and he's here with us now. Welcome to Arizona Horizon. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Burrowing owls are using something that's about as artificial as you can get these days, a solar farm, and using it to good effect. Talk to us about this.
So the land that's cleared away to make room for a really large solar farm have an extra room around the outside that's also cleared out, and we can put in artificial burrows. So the presence of the farm doesn't prevent us from putting in artificial burrows on the outside of the farm.
And an artificial burrow is what?
So burrowing owls are the only raptor in the world that lives underground. And by putting in an artificial burrow, we're basically doing the job of like a badger that would dig a big hole and an owl would live there. And so we don't have enough badgers to dig all the holes for all the owls.
Sure.
So as a conservationist, I'm sort of acting like a badger, and I'm creating plastic locations for owls to live.
Well, they're cute little things, aren't they? Did they start showing up to this solar farm? And if so, why?
So there actually were a few owls living next to the solar farm in a natural burrow that was probably dug by a kit fox. But we are in the process of taking owls from areas that will be developed, like for new homes, and we bring them to the artificial burrows, relocate them there, and if they like it, they stay.
They seem to like it though, don't they?
Well, so that's the surprise. So normally we only relocate them next to irrigated ag because it's flat, open, safe, they can see predators coming, there's lots of food. But we're losing the opportunity to find those farms. I have to travel 100 miles, 150 miles to get to a farm that will still be there 10 years from now.
Yeah.
So the way forward is to try to find a place in the low hot desert, in creosote flat grassland, close to Phoenix, where we can put the owl burrows in and the owls will thrive. And of all things, it is a surprise that they really want to live next to these artificial burrows. To these solar panels.
Yeah.
And that is unexpected.
Unexpected and good for, now these owls there was concern about these things, wasn't there? I mean, regarding whether or not they're going to make it?
So burrowing owls are in decline.
Yes.
Their population continues to go down. There aren't any places in Western North America where you can say, we know that the population is increasing. Generally speaking, it's decreasing. So for a long time, we've always tried to figure out a way. How can we turn this from just making sure the population is stable to, or are not declining as much and actually going up? And that's what the solar farms could do for burrowing owls and other animals that live in the desert. So desert thrashers, kit fox. If we do this right, we help burrowing owls and we help other animals that live there also.
So this is a pretty big success in terms of these particular owls.
Well, it's two kinds of success. I've tried to relocate owls in the low hot desert creosote flat before, and it generally doesn't work. They don't want to stay there. They see, who picked this spot? Let's go find another farm to live at. So I get that. So the surprising thing, almost the stupendous success, is that all of the owls stayed at all of the burrows that we provided for them. That was a big surprise to me. And so the first question you ask is, what is so different about this spot in the desert that they like it? And over time, over the last year and a half that we've been doing the research and doing the relocation, we find that the birds are flying over into the solar panels. So if you see the birds in the solar panels, you have to wonder, what are they doing over there? I mean, shade maybe, you know, someplace to hide out. And it turns out that some researchers, some scientists are doing their work and they get a big surprise they didn't expect. And that happened to me.
Well, congratulations. We're running out of time, unfortunately. I could talk to you forever about this. Congratulations on that success and continued success. And best of luck to you and the Owls.
Thank you.
All right. And that's it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Because kids will always be more curious, Arizona PBS delivers programs